Hello everybody, I'm making this video in order to give you a brief review about the third conditional structure and of course the way that we can use it. Hopefully you find it interesting and helpful. So let's see what's going on. First of all, a question that is displayed on the screen, going back in time to the past, what would you have done differently? Alright, so first of all, it'll be nice if we just move forward and check, of course, the structure. Now, students, when do we use the third conditional? Of course, we use it in the past. When we want to imagine doing or changing something in the past, of course, an unreal past situation. We can talk about time expressions such as yesterday, last week, last year, when I was a child, etc., etc. The structure, I think you have it clear enough because it is similar to the structure of the second conditional, but with some added elements. For instance, you will have the condition if plus the past perfect instead of the past simple in the second conditional, of course. In this one, you will have the past perfect. You use comma, and after that, you will have the modal verb would, could, and we will see some other options in here, plus have and past participle, or the way I like to call the present perfect. If you notice it, that's what we have. Now, here you have an example. If it had been sunny yesterday, I would have gone to the beach. Notice that my pronunciation is referring to the contraction I can make out of these two auxiliary verbs, if you think about it. So wouldn't have, I would have gone to the beach, sorry. If plus past perfect plus would have plus participle, that's what we have. And in Spanish, as a clear reference of this, we have the hubiera, like ese hubiera que no existe. Let's continue. How do we make the third conditional? Well, pretty simple. If we respect the rules of the past participle, of the past perfect, you will realize that the auxiliary verb contains the negative part, and then the past participle verb will remain the same, and after the comma we will have the auxiliary verb would, wouldn't, and there is no other chance that you change this auxiliary verb. So it'll always be have plus the past participle of the verb. Here we have just an infographic of what the first, the second, and the third conditional structures are. And then we can see the differences in the structures. I'm going to skip this. And then we are checking these exercises. I mean, you can do it with me, no problem. In order to practice, if we check the structure at the bottom of the page, you will clearly give me the answer. I'll leave it here for a moment. You can pause the video, you can try to do it, and in a moment I'll show you the answer. This is it. This is the answer. All right. If I had been alive 2,000 years ago, I would have been a Roman. Si hubiera estado vivo hace 2,000 años, hubiera sido un romano. What do you say, guys? Let's move on. Here I have, again, elements in order to make a third conditional sentence. Why don't you try and practice again? The structure is at the bottom of the page. Please pause this video because I'm about to show you the answer. And this is, of course, the answer. If the thief had run faster, the police wouldn't have caught him. You notice that the second part of this statement is in negative. The first auxiliary verb that is in there will have the responsibility to contain the negative particle. Next one. Oops. Next one. Oh, this is similar to me. Look how we're going to hit the iceberg. I think I watched this on a movie. Again, elements to create a sentence. Pause the video because I'll show you the answer. Here it is. If the Titanic had missed the iceberg, it wouldn't have sunk. Let's see, we have another slide. Yes, we do have more slides in order to practice, guys. Again, this is not just homework. This is in order for you to feel more confident about the structure, about the use of the third conditional sentence transformation. I think you have seen this from the Cambridge examination. So let's see what we have. Make sentences for the pictures in the third conditional. Let's go. The Titanic hit an iceberg and sank. Pause the video. Here comes the answer. If the Titanic hadn't hit an iceberg, it wouldn't have sunk. Pretty similar to the previous one. Let's continue with the next one. He stayed in the sun too long yesterday and got sunburned. Guys, please pause the video. There you go. If he hadn't stayed in the sun too long yesterday, he wouldn't have got sunburned. Nice. Let's continue. He arrived late and missed the train. Pausing the video. Of course, if he hadn't arrived late, he wouldn't have missed the train. Thank you. Next one. Oof, she forgot her umbrella and got wet. Pausing the video. If she hadn't forgotten her umbrella, she wouldn't have got wet. Now, we have this one. He was angry, so he punched his laptop. Oh my God. If he hadn't been angry, he wouldn't have punched his laptop. She drank so much coffee yesterday, she couldn't sleep last night. If she hadn't drunk so much coffee yesterday, she would have been able to sleep last night. Oh my God, she got a virus on her laptop because she didn't install an antivirus. If she had installed an antivirus on her laptop, she wouldn't have got a virus. He drank so much last night, he had a hangover when he woke up. True story. If he hadn't drunk so much last night, he wouldn't have had a hangover when he woke up. A kind reminder that you guys can inverse the structure, so you can start with the second statement. He wouldn't have had a hangover when he woke up if he hadn't drunk so much last night. Oh, Bart didn't do his homework, so he had to stay late in school yesterday. If Bart had done the homework, he wouldn't have had to stay late in school yesterday. They worked so hard they passed their exams. If they hadn't worked so hard, they wouldn't have passed their exams. And the final one. He bought a lottery ticket and won. If he hadn't bought a lottery ticket, he wouldn't have won. Now, there is something else I'd like to show you guys. Because of course the book points out to the real conditional with another element to take into account. The book says, okay, it's okay if you have in mind the structure. That's absolutely great for us. But what if we turn our attention to something more formal? And this is as follows. My example is, if he'd stay in a different hotel, they wouldn't have met. This is the structure we know according to the examples that we saw recently, but let's do it a bit formal. And this is changing the position of the auxiliary verb for the past perfect structure and placing it at the beginning. You are changing the complete structure into a more formal one. So the example can be, had he stayed in a different hotel, comma, then I can do the following. Just copy and paste. This is it. So we are substituting the condition if and using the auxiliary verb for the past perfect structure at the beginning of the sentence, and this is what we have. Hey teacher, what happens if my sentence is in negative and I want to use this formal structure? No problem. Instead of having the negative part in here, I'll change it at the beginning of the sentence. I'm gonna try it out. Not sure if it'll make sense, but let me tell you that the structure goes as follows. So had at the beginning, subject then, the negative particle here, the verb in past participle, of course the complement, and then because I took it from here, and this is what we have. Had he not stayed in a different hotel, they would have met. We are basically saying if he hadn't stayed in a different hotel, they would have met, and it goes as in Spanish as si no se hubiera quedado en un hotel diferente, se habrían conocido o se hubieran conocido. That's what we're having. This one, of course, positive. I'm talking about positive in the first part of the sentence, where the if condition is supposed to be. And of course, the negative one. More examples? Let's try them out. I would say, if she hadn't rescued him, he might have died. Holy crap. So I'm introducing to you, of course, another modal verb that is able to be here in the unreal conditional too. And now what I'm doing is turning this into the formality. Let's see what we have. Had she not rescued him, he might have died. And that's it. And that's pretty much it. The second part, of course, if you notice well, there is no change at all. I mean, I can try to have a contraction, but I don't think it makes sense. No, I don't think it works that way. Questions in here? Problems? Now we can say might. Of course, would is the one that we use at the beginning, and we have the chance to use could as well. It depends on the message that we want to present. That's absolutely obvious. And just a kind reminder to say that in imaginary past conditionals, in this case the third one, we are thinking about past events and imagining the opposite of what actually happened. Don't forget that. Imaginary situations in the past. That's why I said that this is the hubiera. One more example, just in case it is not absolutely clear for you. I would say, if Michael, oh yes, Michael, hadn't been waiting outside, she would have missed him. And of course, you will realize that we are using another structure. And you say, yo, teacher, what's going on with you? Well, the reason is because we are also able to use the continuous form in here. All right? We are able to use it. Continuous forms are allowed to be used in this conditional. So that's why we're having this one. All right? As you can imagine, this is the past perfect continuous. Can we change this into formality? I think we could. Let's see. Had he, speaking about Michael, not been waiting outside, she would have missed him. Another thing, we are able to do this here. She would have missed him. Questions in here, problems? So please let me know once you when you finish watching this video. Had he not been waiting outside, she would have missed him. Huh, look at that. I think it's great, guys. It's great that we discovered these structures, but more than that, that we are able to use them. If this has been clear, or you have your questions, hopefully you do, I'm gonna jump to something that is related, of course, to this, which is mixing conditionals. Let me give you this brief explanation. It is also possible to mix the different kinds of conditionals. A common mixed condition imagines a past event with a possible result in present. And you might wonder, so how is this possible? Well, here I have my example. If they hadn't met by chance, don't forget that this part is in the past, and I will also say that this is like the first part of the third conditional, and then I continue with the comma. I would say they wouldn't be together. Now, what's going on with this? The second part, the second statement, stands for something in the present, and I'm technically using the second part of the second conditional. And what we have in here, kids, is of course mixing conditions. I'm going to change this. I use red in here, and I will use green. There you go. So that's what we have. If they hadn't met by chance, they wouldn't be together. Same situation. I love formality. I can use this. Which is, if you notice, it's kind of like it doesn't make sense, because you say you are using formality, but you are using in the second part like a contraction, and that's more like informal. No worries, you can change that. There you go. Had they not met by chance, they would not be together. have seen these type of structures in narrative documents, such as novels, like Harry Potter type of these books and stuff. So I can tell you that you're not going to be lost if you use this. What do you say? Another example for mixing conditionals? We can do that. We can definitely do that. You said, take a look at this. Take a look at this. This is a new one. Different color. I can use green. Visiting London now. Wait a second, no comma. I would say period, because this is just giving you context. If I hadn't found a job in New York, pray for New York, by the way, comma, I will still be living here. Here. Now, what can you detect from this? Of course, in the first part, what we have is the first part of the third conditional, past perfect here. And on the second one, just the second one, we have the second part of the second conditional. As simple as that. Can we change places? Of course. I can say, I would still be living here if I hadn't found a job in New York. No comma, but period at the end. And that would be it. This one, present. The second one, past. So what do you say, guys? Are you able to do some exercises with this? I hope so. And I'll be eager to respond to your questions. Thank you so much.